All right, great. So Sharon, tell me about lessons in chemistry.
Yeah, this is based on I think it's made a couple of years ago, but the book sort of was quite a bestseller, but a couple of years ago. Lessons
Mm,
in Chemistry. It's a story about a woman. Her name is Elizabeth Zoit or Zott. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation. Um, but she is someone who is a skilled chemist.
yeah,
And there's an event that happened during her university years that basically stopped her getting her doctorate. So she's forbidden from actually working in a lab as a chemist. She can only get a job as a lab assistant. But she has a brilliant mind, and she she is sort of is an innovator. She's got one of these minds that just sees problems and she can sort of break it down to the chemistry of it.
yeah,
And she's very analytical.
yeah.
But
And I
she's
think
quite
is it worth saying? Is it worth saying when this show is set? Like what decade is set in?
in the 19 it starts off in the 1950s.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
so it's in a she doesn't fit into the traditional role of what women were supposed to be like at that time.
yeah,
It's unusual that she went to university, but she's quite outspoken, she's quite blunt, um, and she's sort of not what you would expect a woman of raised in that sort of way to be.
yeah,
And she's sort of basically sort of battling against everyone around her because she wants just to do what she wants to do, and she's working for men who rely upon her to do their work because she basically is a better chemist than they are. She's a
yeah,
better mind,
yeah,
and in this sort of laboratory, she actually meets a man who actually recognizes in her brilliance, and they become partners in work and partners in life. And part of the story is about what happens in their relationship. And her life moves on. It sort of charges over about 10 years, this story, and you
yeah.
see some of it in flashback. And her life moves on, and she no longer works for the lab, and she accidentally gets a job hosting a television show about cookery.
Yeah.
Because she's a chemist, she approaches even cooking as basic chemistry. About it's all about getting the right quantities and the right mixture and the right temperature and the right. It's an experiment basically in food, and
Yes.
she becomes this enormously popular television host of this show, Dinner at Six,
Yeah.
and you see how her sort of attitude to life and her attitude to food and her attitude to chemistry all sort of combine through the medium of this show, and how she basically wants to sort of live her own life, live her real life, but not conforming to what she's supposed to be as a woman, not supposed to be as a chemist, not supposed to be as a television personality,
Yeah.
as the film progresses into the 1960s. So, yes, it's a story of sort of her life and the tragedies of it, the dramas of it, and the joys that sort of affect her as well. So I think it's over 8 episodes,
Yeah.
and it delves into yes, it delves into her past and the reasons why she is the way she is in some ways in terms of interpersonal relationships,
Yeah.
and it delves into the life and the past of her partner, who she declines to marry for her own reasons, that she doesn't want to be a married woman.
Yeah.
She doesn't ever want to marry, and so that again affects her professional reputation and the way people treat her as a
Because
non-married woman
it is the 50s going into the 60s
in the
in
60s. Yeah,
America.
the
Yeah.
fact that her ambition isn't to get married. Her
Yeah.
ambition is to
There
be
is
her
no
own.
place for you in society. You don't make
Yeah,
any sense. A
yes.
woman doesn't want to get married.
And it draws in sort of societal issues of the time, sort of racism and sexism,
Yep.
and um, the sort of religious geopolitical impact of the times. So it all has an impact on this story. But yes, it's a sort of snapshot through the lens of this woman's life into being true to yourself. I think is probably the lesson that we
All right.
learn from the stories.
Okay, that's what they set out to do. How did you feel about what they actually did?
I thought they did it well. I think they translated from the book, or the adaptation from the book was good, was faithful. There's some unpleasantness in the book, and they did it discreetly and they
Mm-hmm.
translated it well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought on the whole, yeah, they was entertaining. I think she was more engaging. In the book, she can be quite unlikable because I think that's the nature of her character, and I think
Yeah.
they saw some of her edges in the thing.
Yep.
Uh, but No, I thought it was done very well, actually. I thought it was a worthy adaptation of that book, and it was entertaining for what it was. So the things I didn't like about the book have carried over. They're the things I didn't really particularly like about the series, but not enough for me to say I didn't like it. There's just some of the characteristics, some of the storylines. I was like, "Mm." But on the whole, I thought it was done well. I enjoyed it, entertaining, good cast. They all played their parts well. There weren't any duff notes where you're thinking, no, I don't believe you. They
Yeah,
all did what they did really well. There's humor in it. There was, yeah, real pathos in it, and there was some really unpleasantness in it. But
yeah, yeah.
it, it did it well.
Every review I've heard about this show has sort of like subtly referenced unpleasantness without saying what it is. So yeah, so
The
I
book, it
can.
takes you by surprise. You think you're going to be picking up a nice book about a lady hosting a cookery show, and then quite early on, there's a dramatic scene that you go, oh, I did not see that coming, and you had no warning. You had you were
It,
just like it.
it, it's just one of those things, but when you have a novel based on a woman in 1950s America, you expect that there's going to be some unpleasantness. It's like when I'm trying to reach a novel about a black person in America that's set in like the 1930s. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's like it's kind of par for the course, but sometimes and I think it's funny because this looks like almost it looks almost like a sort of like cozy kind of show, and then you realize, oh
yeah,
no, it's actually trying to be a bit more realistic. But
yeah.
all that being said, Brie Larson, Lewis Pullman, who I actually really like, Lewis Pullman, I really like. How many stars would you give this?
So again, I'm torn like the sort of high three or a four with it because I did think it was engaging. I did watch it, without too much break. It was like, okay, yeah, well, I'm committing to this. So high three, four. What do I go for? I'd probably err on the more the high three.
Okay.
But it certainly is up in that cusp between, yeah, three and a four.
Yep, I hear you on that. And also,